let's drop in on my old friend Marianne, who's on Hannity, and Hannity spars with Marianne Williamson. What the hell does that mean? Now, in defense of Marianne, Hannity is not a smart person.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Yes, agreed. So, this is it might not be her. It might not be her issue in this, but we're gonna find out. Here we go.
All right, time for the Hannity hot seat. If you watch Joe Biden's re-election announcement video, you may have seen something very interesting at the end. Take a look at your screen and see what it says on the bottom. Paid for by the Democratic National Committee. So the DNC is all in for Biden, and they've...
Right. Weird. And so none of Trump's ads are paid for by the RNC. Why are they not doing it? I think that's more the question. Why is the RNC distancing itself from Trump?
The primary before it even starts. Remember, they're going to bypass New Hampshire, go straight to South Carolina. They're not even holding any debates, despite the fact that a majority of Democrats do not want Joe to run for a second term. But
yeah, no, I got to say, I know that your audience will enjoy that, and they believe that, and they're the same assholes who think that if we'd have just known about the Hunter laptop and the fact that he smokes in a bathtub, maybe 17% of Democrats wouldn't have voted and Trump would have won. That's election interference. Yeah, nobody buys that.
Joe isn't the only.
Chuck Todd, Mark Murray, Ben Camisar, Bridget Bowman, and Alexandra Marquez. And maybe roughest of all, if the president, 70% of all Americans, including 50% of Democrats, don't want Biden to run for president in 2024, with nearly half of these respondents citing his age as a major reason. Yeah, it's certainly not his capability, especially after today's job report. Ouch. Hold on. This is fun. Real quick, just to enjoy this for a second. Can we? Is that all right? This guy right here. Jobs growth. I scrolled through this. Jobs report. April jobs report. Shocks with 253,000 jobs created. Unemployment falls. Job growth totals 253,000 and 253K in April, beating expectation even as the U.S. economy slows. Does it though? U.S. employers added 253,000 jobs despite economic worries. Nice try, New York Times. April jobs report, labor market remains strong as U.S. adds 253,000 jobs. Unemployment falls to 3.4%. Notice how the Wall Street Journal has like the kindest title to the headline. It's interesting. A strong jobs report defied recession alarms. Here are the industries hiring workers. Thanks for being practical, ABC. They're the LinkedIn network, apparently. Strong hiring, drop in unemployment, tests the Fed. Jobs growth is robust, but April report also showed hints of a slowdown. So we weren't wrong. We were just wrong. And then, let's see. April's Axios. April job report. U.S. economy has 253,000 jobs. Unemployment raised, but they're pretty fact heavy. And then this was it. What to expect from the jobs report. This was a day ago. So mixed in with these is CNN's report. And by the way, I'll show you there's the Dow up 1.5 plus. S&P's up a point, almost 2 points. Nasdaq's up 2.25. It's at 33,674. It's fucking exactly where it's been, like, holding steady. Okay, this is from yesterday. And of course, to all of you that don't want Biden to run because he's too fucking old, maybe age and wisdom work in some cases, okay? Maybe your ageist bullshit should just check it for a second. Unless, of course, you're just arguing that you can almost tell which people wish their parents would die so they could just have the house by how they talk about old people. What to expect from the jobs report. This is yesterday on May the 4th. And by the way, happy May the 5th. May the 6th be with you. If the last unemployment trends continue and economists' forecasts prove true, Friday's job report could bring back that pre-pandemic feeling. That we were heading into a recession, which we were right before where the interest rates were too low. You mean that pre-pandemic or whatever the fuck? Economists expect the economy to have added 180,000 jobs in April, according to consensus estimates on Refinitiv. Turned out not to be the case. Excluding the losses during the first year of the pandemic, that would be the smallest monthly gain since December of 2019. Remember I know, this is smallest monthly gain since December 2019. It's during the Trump administration. They're like, we're going back to the Trump. And by the way, Trump's entire group would say that he had the best numbers ever all the time until COVID hit. This is before COVID. It could also hammer home the fact that the U.S. labor market has indeed cooled down from its red-hot recovery over the past 2 years. Earlier this week, the latest labor turnover report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that job openings declined, hiring was flat. You don't think hiring was flat has anything to do with the lack of jobs to hire people for because they weren't running out of jobs. Okay. Quits trended down. People weren't leaving. And layoffs spiked, which, again, compared to not having layoffs at all, give me a percentage number. Anyway, JOLTS is now really pointing in the similar direction as other labor market data that the labor market is cooling off, said Nick Bunker from Hiring Lab. The moderation, which is expected to continue, is the desired logical outcome of the Fed's inflation rate. And and then not so much. The next day, the report came out and stiff-armed all this bullshit. Meanwhile, stocks rise after strong jobs growth. What the fuck is happening? The U.S. economy created 253,000 jobs in April, the Labor Department reported on Friday, marking a surprise jump from March and showing just how resilient the labor market remains despite rising interest rates and high inflation. Why is it that we keep making our calculations here at Barron's and the Wall Street Journal and others? Why do we keep making our calculations based on the idea that too much money is in circulation and jobs ticking up is fucking the entire economy, and then we fix those things and it doesn't change anything? Could it possibly be that COVID happened and supply chain, specifically supply shock, is affecting the long-term financial, and it's going to be a transition we're going to be in for a little while, and these are actually not the inflation of prices because of available money, but because of the actual costs of goods, so because we're not using slave labor anymore? Fuck me, never mind. Why? I don't even know why I bring it up. Okay.
Only one running. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently entered the race, by the way. And he's up to 19% in the poll.
Ooh.
So that's a pretty big number, I think. And author...
What, are you trying to get people to applaud Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on his anti-vax stance? Yeah, good luck.
Marianne Williamson.
By the way, the two of them dividing up the hardcore Bernie numbers from last time. It's not going to do anything.
She ran back in 2020. If you recall, she is back in the race, and she announced her campaign before Biden did, and she did it longer than 3 minutes and didn't have to tape it. And she's asking Joe Biden to debate her. And she joins us now from Washington, D.C. tonight, the Swamp. Marianne, how are you?
From Washington, D.C., the Swamp. Okay. Again, just setting some baseline rules here. If you say things like establishment, deep state, or the swamp, you might as well just wear a sign on your forehead that says, I'm a gullible asshole. From now on. Stop it.
Fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I actually am going to start out in agreement with you. I think we'll disagree on other stuff.
I agree that Joe Biden shouldn't be president. And I agree on one thing.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Right.
I think it would be fair for Joe Biden to debate you and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Why do you think he's not debating? And do you believe he's in a steep cognitive decline?
Oh, God. All right. Let's go.
Well, I think...
Oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong screen.
I think in a democracy, what's important is that people have a right to see their options. I think this is an...
They do see their options. There's... You can present... See, one of the reasons why debates became a thing is because the ideological root of what someone is doing is what you debate most times. The actual plans that you have need to be presented and arguably checked by accountants or medical professionals or people like that and compared. And maybe at a debate, you could go, medical professionals say that my plan will do this better than your plan will do this, whatever. But that doesn't mean it will. And you're still asking people to trust you. So it just becomes a shouting match. And also, no, you're not going to clear any kind of a hurdle that's actually going to punch a hole. So it's not happening. And there's no reason for it. It's ego.
Extremely important time in American history. And anyone who feels moved to run for president should have their say. And the voters should hear what they have to say.
Right, and they do, and you can, and that doesn't mean you qualify for a debate stage with someone who the party, who you're not always a member of, especially in the case of Marianne and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and arguably in the case of Bernie, where you're just basically carpetbagging in for a little while, and then you pop out when it doesn't suit you. They don't have to take orders.
They should hear their agenda, and the voters should decide who they want to be president.
Okay, how about part two of my question? Do you believe he's in a major cognitive decline?
I'm not a doctor. I'm not somebody who is testing his brain. I think every American citizen has to look at the president and listen.
You know, Marianne, when you watch him, how do you not think he's not,
I agree. I'm a dope. Does he seem like somebody that has the strength and stamina and is articulate to be president?
You don't, Sean.
You know, I wouldn't be running if I didn't think that I was a better candidate. I think I have the energy, and certainly I have the ideas that are better.
You got to answer my
question. I'm not going to come on Fox News and talk to you, Sean, and say something like that. I'm not going to.
Why would you say it anywhere? Here's the answer. He's president of the United States right now. You can debate the value of the plans and his organization, but the idea that you're just taking pot shots and you're not even addressing Trump's flubs, what kind of
I don't read, obviously.
Hold on.
Yeah, look.
Here I am like an idiot.
Somebody like that can write good.
Michigan gave us Motang.
At some point, that's why you don't answer it. That you go, Sean, what is Covfefe? What does Michigan gave us Motang mean? What does that mean? What is let's see. What is what part of the military is the ass force?
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the ass force.
Not since the ass force.
Again, the words are conditions.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And one of our greatest parks.
When they gaze upon Yosemite.
Yeah. By the way, he said that twice in the same speech 2 years ago. You think Hannity covered that shit? Get out of here.
I think every American can decide for themselves.
But if you believe it, you would tell us, would you?
My mind doesn't go into that. I don't believe that the energy is being demonstrated that I believe will be necessary in order to take on either DeSantis or Trump in 2024. And if I did, yeah.
All right. You said that we need an economic U-turn in this country.
Yes. No. What do you mean? She said this a bunch of times. We need an economic U-turn in this country. Back to what? Like, if you're thinking about the Great Society or, the time of Roosevelt, if you're going back to the economic picture as far as like the availability of capital, the organization of our economy back then, it was totally unfair. You can't patch all the holes from back then with Great Society welfare like you would today. You're not going to be able to do it with UBI. It's not going to work that way. All you're going to do is drive the price of everything up. Yeah.
What system economically do you support? I'm a capitalist. I believe in limited government, more freedom.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't believe in limited government, or he'd let women decide abortion for themselves. He would, of course he doesn't believe in limited government.
Lower taxes and
on rich people, not on everybody.
Energy independence.
Well, it should be not rich people, corporations, rich corporations.
What do you want?
I think our capitalist system has lost some of its soul over the last 50 years. I believe that capitalism, Adam Smith, who is the main architect of free market capitalism, said that free market capitalism cannot exist outside an ethical context. I think public policy has to have ethics. So I believe that the American people, our safety, our health, and our well-being should come before short-term profits for huge corporate entities. I believe that there are other stakeholders besides just stockholders. You're throwing out a lot of
cliches.
She's throwing out a bunch of cliches. Meanwhile, he's just going, I like limited government. Hold on. Where are we? Go back to here. I'm a limited government and have I like no big tax or big things. I don't like big taxes. And I'm lots of freedom to run around full diaper, change them yourself if you feel like it, but don't have to. But all you talk about is doing like cliches of things, quote Adam Smith and stuff. And why can't you quote Adam West? That's what I want to know.
I want to dig down deep here.
Yeah, that's true. He wants to dig down deep or up deep into his nostrils.
I agree. I'm a dope. What do you think I want, for example? Lower taxes, more freedom, less government.
Yeah, not cliches or bumper sticker phrases, Marianne. He wants low taxes, more freedom, little government, and no do nothing to leave people do the thing that they're going to do with the money that they have and they do whatever. I can't. Just that. Don't have to even write it down. You just put the thing on just to make less government, just make it go away.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, bureaucracy is terrible because I think a dresser is better than a bureau anyways.
And I want energy independence.
We're energy independent right now. I don't know why people think that they
don't like the gas.
I don't know why they think that.
Borders secure.
Okay,
I want law and order. What do you?
Yeah, it's a gish gallop. It's an old-fashioned way. Never mind. I don't even need to do a thing.
Okay, so let's go with each one. The first one, take each one at a time. The first one you said was lower taxes. I want lower taxes for middle-class people. I want higher taxes for people who have huge amounts of wealth and are living at the effect of public policies. How high? I want to see a wealth tax. I think people who, first of all, I think we should, look, in 2017, we had a $2 trillion tax cut. 83 cents of every dollar went to the very richest Americans and the very
let's see
richest
how smart you are in the economy.
The middle class.
Let me divert everything you're trying to say while you're not even answering my question anyways. Like, if Sean had any fucking brains, he would just let the entire question come out because her gripe. He'll find his audience enjoys the complaint, but neither one of these two people have an actual solution for it. They don't. She doesn't have like other than repeal the Bush or the Trump tax cut. That's it. That's not a policy, especially if you need to raise money.
What percentage of income taxes do the bottom 50% of Americans pay? What percent?
It's not about I'm not going to talk to you about the bottom middle class, the bottom half. I'm going to talk to you about the upper class, the 1%. So you asked me what I want to see. I want to see 50 million or more. I think people should pay an extra 2% in taxes. Wouldn't affect their day. And if someone has $1 billion, they should pay an extra 1%.
So you want to each American based on their need, from each American according.
You big fucking commie.
To their ability.
No, from it work according to each of their ability to people according to their need. You reversed it, dumb fuck. But that's.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Okay.
Talk about cliches. Come on.
No, I'm asking.
I think that we should have fair taxation.
Is that a statement that you agree with? I'm asking.
Well, as a concept, but once again, that we should talk about what's real in this country.
That's Karl Marx.
Man, you can't just don't take the bait. You can't be president if you're going to walk into rakes laid out by Sean Hannity that he himself just stepped on.
His words, not mine.
Well, thank God I didn't say yes, because then you'd be calling me a Marxist.
You kind of did,
look,
but
Sean,
you know.
Well, no, I didn't. Look, Sean, look, I did.
Let me ask you.
I did.
Uh-oh, I didn't realize it was incel night at the Hannity show.
Didn't trap me there.
Would you support me in this? Do you support energy independence, and we ought not be importing oil from countries that hate us and countries like Venezuela? Would you support me on that?
I think that I would support you that we should not be getting oil or selling arms, by the way, to countries that hate us. But I also want to see a habitable planet in 100 years. I want to see massive investments in green energy. I want to see a just transition from a dirty economy to a clean economy.
How much money? We're now spending over $50 billion. Every government agency is spending something on the climate alarmist religious cult.
But believe me, he's a newsman. He's not putting his thumb on the scale of this conversation at all.
How many billions of dollars do you want to invest in it? Give me a number.
Listen, we have $858 billion right now in our military expenditure every year, and they are the largest institutional emitter of greenhouse gases. And the Congressional Budget Office, hardly a liberal organization, says that we could take out $1 trillion of that over the next decade and cut greenhouse gases.
But natural gas is a clean-burning fossil fuel. All right, I got to ask you about...
But natural gas is a clean-burning fossil fuel. No, it isn't. It's mitigatory. It's better than oil and coal. That's not the point.
Some of the weird stuff.
And also, the extraction of natural gas is the largest producer of methane, not cow farts. For the record. There's a... Hold on. Let me show you something. This is one of those things. Hold on. I'll bring up something on the screen. Let's see. Satellite images, methane tracking, something like that. Let's see. In the news. Yeah, there you go. Orbiting methane speed cameras are catching polluters in the act. Here you go. So everybody talks about like the cow farts storyline. There is a system that is being used by the government and by NGOs using these heat satellites, that tell you how much methane is being released and not burned off and vented from these gas fields. There you go. Think of them as speed cameras for methane, just like roadside instruments used to identify drivers breaking traffic rules. New powerful satellites are starting to catch oil and gas operators, releasing the planet-warming gas into the atmosphere. Methane is far worse than CO2, by the way, and plants don't use it to make energy or survive, whatever. Methane's just a greenhouse gas all by itself. Okay. At least 24 high-resolution satellites are expected to be in orbit by the end of this year, quietly tracking the super pollutant that's invisible to the naked eye. Their sensors are able to detect the natural gas component as it spews from pipelines, unlit flares, storage tanks, and compressor stations all around the world. And by the way, this is the biggest one, unlit flares. These are the places where it vents out of the ground while they're at these natural gas facilities, and they don't burn it. There you go. So this is... there's no way. I would say there's no way Hannity knows about that. Honestly, he just doesn't give a fuck.
You've said.
Okay.
Okay. You have said your body is merely your space station, from whence you beam your love to the universe. Don't just relate to the station, relate to the beams. You said everyone feels on some level like an alien in this world because we are. We come from another realm of consciousness and long from home. What the hell does that mean?
I'm surprised to hear you say that, because I would think that you would recognize that as a very traditional religious and spiritual perspective, that we are spirits, that God created us as spirits, and that is what we are, and we are here to love one another, and we don't feel deeply at home.
Listen to him rolling the fucking music up and cutting her off. And again, Hannity is effectively going, so do you walk into churches and spit in the face of the preacher when they use analogies like that? When they use anything but direct biblical language? When's the last time you went to church, Sean? What kind do you yell bullshit when you're sitting there? Because I guarantee that he'll lie.
Spiritual level on this planet, because this world is not based on love the way it should be. I think those words are
all right. That's a fair answer. I'm a Christian. I believe.
No, he's not.
In God the Father.
Bullshit.
That God created every man, woman, and child on this earth.
I just don't care about all of them. I think they're on their own, and it's because women ate an apple or some shit.
I believe in Jesus Christ, His Son, that died and resurrected.
How's this go again? I believe in... What did I believe in? What are my beliefs? Wait! I had an idea! What was my idea? Oh, yes!
Came back from the dead.
Something like that. Woo! Yeah! Fucking came back from the dead! Ow! One of the incels is very Jesus-y. He's big on Jesus.
To save all of us from our sins. That's what I believe.
That's why I believe. I don't know, something about sense. I don't know. That's why I voted for Donald Trump. Because, I like Jesus loves you, even if you grab women by the pussy, and women are to blame for us not being in Eden in the first place. So, yes. Marianne, there's a reason why you have a shocked look on your face, because, well, quite frankly,
I agree. I'm a dope.
Because he's one of the single stupidest people you can do an interview with. The look on Marianne's face is, oh my God, I had no idea he was dumber than Kilmeade. That's incredible.
Anyway, Marianne,
I respect.
Anyway,
appreciate you taking the heat. Thanks for being here. You're
I appreciate you taking the heat. What heat? You were a whingy, sarcastic mess. And perhaps Marianne learned a little bit about the Fox Gish Gallop in this appearance. I don't think so. I don't think that, I hope the lesson was learned. I don't think so. But what you're going to want to come on in there is that that's what they're going to try to do, is make you look like they think Joe Biden is a fucking Marxist. What do you think they're going to say about him, like RFK Jr. or her? The only reason they want RFK Jr. on there is because he's anti-vax, period, end of story. And that he wants their ideas about, he supports, he's their support structure. He's like that, I was about to make him he's one of the legs of the table. I don't think that's true. It's more like he's the napkin they put under one of the legs to keep it from wobbling on their whole anti-vax, anti-science attitude that they're like, see, we told you ivermectin was the way to go.
welcome back anytime. Hey,
You're welcome back anytime. That's what we traditionally refer to as bullshit.